I found this small metal multi-tool in the home of my first-generation uncle, whose family immigrated to the United States from Italy in the early 1900s. The tool has 4 features: a hook, a slightly curved scoop, a blade, and a pencil. There's also a loop at the top, possibly for wearing it as a necklace or attaching it to a keychain. Does anyone know what this tool is and what it was used for? The small metal multi-tool you found is a Victorian eye-twee, a compact toolkit that became popular during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. These accessories were crafted with a focus on both functionality and elegance, commonly used throughout Europe, particularly in England and Italy. They often included essentials for personal grooming, sewing, or small repairs. The tools in your example, a hook, a scoop, a blade, and a pencil, indicate it might have been used for clothing maintenance or other practical household tasks. The loop on top suggests it was designed to be worn on a chain or attached to a chatelaine, a decorative belt clip popular among Victorian women for carrying everyday essentials. Crafted from materials like brass or silver, they often featured ornate engravings, making them symbols of sophistication and status, in addition to being practical items. Their decline in use came with the advent of modern tools and accessories, but they remain valuable as historical artifacts reflecting the culture and artistry of their time. I found this rusted metal object about 100 feet underground in an old cave or mine. It is approximately 2 feet tall and has pipes attached to it. There's an electrical wire wrapped around the base. Does anyone know what this could be? What you found is a hydraulic ram pump, an ingenious device developed in the late 18th century to transport water from a lower elevation to a higher one without relying on external power. This pump operates using the natural momentum of flowing water, making it both sustainable and highly efficient. The hydraulic ram pump was invented in 1796 by Joseph Montgolfier, originally for use in his paper mill. It was later patented in Britain by Matthew Boulton in 1797. During the 19th century, these pumps became widely popular for their ability to supply water to farms, rural homes, and mines using only the flow of a nearby stream or river. This made them invaluable in remote areas where electricity was unavailable. Typically made from durable materials like cast iron, hydraulic ram pumps were designed to withstand years of use. However, their widespread application began to decline in the early 20th century with the introduction of electrically powered pumps, which offered greater flexibility and efficiency. A relative who traveled extensively passed away, and this object was found at her house. We have no other details about its origin or purpose. The oval ball in the center is loose and moves around when shaken. The owner frequently traveled abroad, so it might not necessarily be American. Does anyone know what this is or what it might have been used for? The object you found is a Fijian cannibal fork, known locally as Aikula ni Bokola. These unique utensils were used in Fiji during the 19th century for ceremonial practices associated with cannibalistic rituals, which were a deeply ingrained part of Fijian culture at the time. The fork's design, often featuring 4 prongs, allowed high-ranking chiefs to be fed without touching food with their hands, as they were considered too sacred to handle such items directly. Crafted from durable hardwoods and sometimes adorned with intricate carvings, these forks were both symbolic and functional. Cannibalism in Fiji was not merely an act of consumption, but also a profound spiritual and social ritual. It was believed that consuming an enemy's flesh would grant the victor their strength and mana. The use of these forks, along with the associated rituals, largely came to an end by the late 19th century, following the arrival of Christian missionaries who actively discouraged cannibalism. This object is about 3 by 3 inches with a small movable lever. When the lever is engaged, little fins extend out from the bottom. Does anyone know what this could be or what it was used for? The object you found is a scarificator, a medical instrument used primarily during the 18th and 19th centuries for bloodletting. At the time, bloodletting was widely believed to be an effective treatment for balancing the body's humors and addressing a variety of ailments. Scarificators were considered an improvement over older tools like fleams because they allowed multiple incisions to be made simultaneously with greater precision. The design of a scarificator typically featured a brass casing containing a mechanism with a series of small blades. These blades were spring-loaded and activated by a lever making shallow cuts in the skin to draw blood. This method was viewed as more efficient and less painful than earlier techniques. Some scarificators were equipped with adjustable settings, enabling practitioners to control the depth of the cuts. By the late 19th century, bloodletting as a medical practice began to decline as advancements in medical science demonstrated its ineffectiveness and potential harm. What is it called when a stove is set inside a fireplace-like cubby? I've seen this design in older houses, but I'm not sure if it's a retrofit or if it was originally built that way. Does anyone know the name for this type of setup? The feature you're describing is called an inglenook, a design element commonly found in older homes, especially in England and parts of Europe. An inglenook is essentially a recessed area or alcove built around a fireplace, originally intended to create a cozy spot for warmth and relaxation near the hearth. Inglenooks gained popularity in medieval times when the fireplace served as the central element of a home, acting as both the primary source of heat and a place for cooking. These spaces were often designed with built-in seating on either side of the alcove, making them a functional and social hub for the household. The term inglenook derives from the Scots word ingle, meaning fire, and nook, which refers to a corner or small space. In modern times, inglenooks are frequently retrofitted with stoves or other modern heating appliances. This allows homeowners to preserve the historical charm and cozy atmosphere of the space while incorporating contemporary functionality. This is some kind of stopwatch with a number scale I don't understand. It was part of a set of 3 pocket devices, a normal stopwatch, a pedometer, and this one. Does anyone know what this device might be or how it works? The device you've described is a stopwatch equipped with a tachymeter scale. Tachymeters are designed to measure speed over a fixed distance, such as 1 mile or 1 kilometer based on time. These tools were commonly used in the mid-20th century, particularly in automotive racing, law enforcement, and other activities requiring precise speed calculations. Tachymeters operate by using a numerical scale inscribed on the stopwatch. To determine speed, the stopwatch is started when a moving object, like a car, crosses the first marker and stopped after it crosses the second marker 1 mile away. The position of the stopwatch's hand on the tachymeter scale indicates the object's average speed. For example, if it takes 30 seconds to cover 1 mile, the scale will show a speed of 120 miles per hour. In addition to being used by automotive enthusiasts, tachymeter-equipped stopwatches were also employed by police officers to measure vehicle speeds. Before the advent of radar and laser speed detectors, officers relied on this method to enforce speed limits by timing vehicles over a known distance and using the tachymeter scale to calculate their speed. I found this intriguing device with a red lever and markings labeled P and G. The red arm moves around as the bottom needle goes down. It comes with a leather case labeled Voss. Does anyone know what this is or how it works? The device you found is a mechanical self-timer, commonly used with older cameras to delay the shutter release. These self-timers allowed photographers to include themselves in the picture or to minimize camera shake during long exposures. This device is connected to Walter Voss, a notable German manufacturer of cameras and accessories active in the 1950s. Voss is best known for producing the DX line of 35mm cameras. This self-timer was likely designed to complement those models or other high-end cameras of the era. Mechanical self-timers operate by winding an internal clockwork mechanism, which slowly unwinds to trigger the camera's shutter after a set time delay, usually between 5 and 10 seconds. On one of the beaches in Ecuador, I came across this strange sand that has magnetic properties. Why can sand have such properties, and is this phenomenon found elsewhere? The magnetic sand you found on a beach in Ecuador is known as iron sand, a naturally occurring substance rich in iron minerals, particularly magnetite. These sands are formed through geological processes like volcanic activity and erosion, which release iron-rich materials from rocks. Over time, these particles are carried by rivers to coastal areas where they accumulate as heavy, dark sands with magnetic properties. Iron sand is not exclusive to Ecuador. Similar sands are found in various parts of the world, including New Zealand, Japan, and the Western United States. These sands were historically significant as a source of iron for steel production. In Japan, for example, iron sand was used in traditional furnaces to create steel, which was essential for crafting samurai swords. The unique magnetic properties of iron sand are due to its high content of magnetite, an iron oxide mineral. These old rusty posts are found on street corners all over Washington, D.C. What was their original purpose and why are they still there today? These old rusty posts are remnants of the emergency call box system installed in the 19th and early 20th centuries. These call boxes, used by both the public and emergency services, were crucial for communication in an era before telephones became widespread. They allowed citizens to report fires, crimes, or medical emergencies quickly and efficiently. The system was divided into two main types: fire call boxes and police call boxes. Fire call boxes were equipped with a lever that, when pulled, sent a coded telegraph signal to the nearest fire station, alerting them to the location of the fire. Police call boxes, on the other hand, allowed officers to check in with their stations, report incidents, or request additional assistance while on patrol. As technology advanced, the use of call boxes declined, particularly after the introduction of two-way radios and the 911 emergency system in the mid-20th century. Many of the internal mechanisms were removed, but the durable cast-iron posts remained in place. Recognizing their historical value, Washington, D.C. initiated efforts to preserve these call boxes as part of the city's heritage. I found this wooden object in an antique shop. It measures about 3 by 10 inches, has a hollow end opposite a pointed tip, and features a clip-like part at the top that was once broken and is now held in place with a screw. Does anyone know what this is, or what it might have been used for? The wooden object you've found is a traditional scythe sharpening stone holder, commonly referred to as a coffin. These holders were designed to keep sharpening stones both accessible and protected during fieldwork. The clip-like part at the top was specifically used to secure the holder to a belt or waistband. The pointed end was designed to be inserted into the ground while working in the field. The hollow interior stored the sharpening stone, and in some cases it was filled with a small amount of water to keep the stone wet, aiding the sharpening process. I found this unusual object in my house. It looks like a clock, but the face has only a single needle and the text GPO 13388. The item seems to be made of wood and metal, and its design appears to be quite old. Does anyone know what this is and what it might have been used for? The object you've discovered is a galvanometer, an instrument used to detect and measure electric current. The inscription GPO indicates that it was produced for the General Post Office in the United Kingdom, which was responsible for postal and telecommunication services. Galvanometers like this were essential tools in telegraphy, enabling operators to monitor the presence and strength of telegraph signals. The single needle on the device would deflect in response to electrical currents, allowing technicians to assess signal integrity. The design and materials suggest it dates back to the mid-19th to early 20th century. I came across this structure built on the slope of a small hill. Water flows down it, cascading over each step in a controlled way. It looks like it was deliberately built, but I'm not sure of its purpose. Is this some kind of water management system, or does it serve another function? The structure you found is a fish ladder, a crucial component in water management systems designed to help fish navigate around obstacles like dams. Fish ladders provide a series of steps or pools that mimic natural stream conditions, allowing fish to move upstream to spawn or access habitats they need. Fish ladders became popular in the early 20th century as conservation efforts aimed to protect fish populations and maintain biodiversity. The design and implementation of such systems often depend on the local fish species and the specific characteristics of the waterway. For example, salmon and trout, which migrate upstream to spawn, benefit greatly from these structures. These systems are now common in many regions as part of sustainable water management efforts and are vital for maintaining aquatic ecosystems. In the last video, I asked you to guess what this steel kitchen utensil with a wooden handle might have been used for. Many of you shared some creative and intriguing ideas, and a few of you got it right. This item is actually used for holding meat while carving. These utensils were particularly popular in the 1970s and 1980s, often found in home and commercial kitchens alike. Thank you to everyone who participated and shared your guesses. A special shout out to Codename B for being the first to correctly identify it. Alright, it's time for another mystery item. Take a look at this small metallic object. It's about the size of a lipstick tube, feels hollow, and has a tiny pinhole on the top. There's also a combination with numbers from 5 to 9 engraved on it. What do you think it's used for? Leave your guesses in the comments, and I'll reveal the answer in the next video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to create more videos. See you next time.